So before I move on, let's talk a bit about the conflict happening in Palestine concerning the Palestinians and the Israelis, right? Now, one thing I want people to understand very much is I want to quote chapter 49, verse 6. Chapter 49, verse 6. Now, whatever I'm going to say between the Palestinians and the Israelis is based on this verse, first of all, right? God says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, in ja'akum fasikun binaba'in. Then he says, fatabayyanu. An tusibu qawman bijahalatin. Because you might strike somebody out of ignorance. O you who have believed, whenever or if an immoral person, right, brings you news or a news, brings you a news or news, then investigate, ascertain, try to be sure of it, become clear in it. Fatabayyanu. So whenever somebody brings you news, whether it's BBC, Al Jazeera, CNN, whatever news station you have, brings you information or news, fatabayyanu, investigate first of all. You need to investigate. The reason is, God says, lest you might or you may strike a people out of ignorance, then you will become remorseful over what you have done. Just because somebody just brought you a news and say, hey, look, this guy is killing this guy. Then all of a sudden, because he told you this guy is killing this guy, you just went to attack the one killing somebody without knowing what actually transpired, without even knowing why are they fighting. So first of all, you need to investigate. Try to know what is happening. How come I just switch on the TV and then somebody is killing somebody, somebody is throwing rockets at somebody? I need to investigate. Don't take sides, please. Investigate. That is chapter 49 of the Quran, verse 6. Now, first of all, if I have to delve into the matter deep down, I'm going to explain to you some of the things that people don't know concerning the the Palestinians and the Jews, whatever is happening. Most people don't know about why these things are happening, right? Now, this conflict came from the intercommunal violence in mandatory Palestine between Israelis and Arabs. Now, when I say Israelis, I'm talking about the Jews. I'm not talking about Bani Israel, the children of Israel. According to the Quran, children of Israel, Bani Israel, are different compared to the Israel you are seeing in Middle East. They are not the same. There's a difference. Now, this is something which happened. This is something which happened between the Palestinians and the Israelis, coming from 1920, in the 1920s, and erupted into the full-scale hostilities or hostile in the year 1947 to 1948 and 1949, thereabout going. So it became like a civil war between them. The conflict continued to this present day on various levels. Like it happens on various levels. Now, what you should know is the British withdrew from Palestine because they were there with them. The British withdrew from Palestine in the 1949. And Israel declared itself an independent state away from what? Palestine. So what went about is the Palestinians objected. And neighboring Arab, if you know about also this leader they had, Yasser Arafat and whatever have you, if you have gone, those are even the recent histories of them. Palestinians objected and neighboring Arab countries mobilized to what? Prevent the formation of Israeli states. Right? Israel wanted to be on its own. And then, so Palestine can also be on its own. So the Arabs in all supported Palestine against Israeli state, right? Now, which sparked the 1948 Arab-Israel civil war. That is the beginning of the Palestine and Israel war that you are seeing today. It is not from today. It started long ago. It is a war between them. This one declared independent for itself. This one didn't agree. Just as it happened recently, I think, with Spain. Barcelona wanted to take their own independence, and Spain actually refused. You understand? And then they arrested some leaders among them. But thanks to God, there is no war between them as at now. You get the point. Now, this is something similar which went about, right? Now, the reason why I said the Israelites you are seeing today, the country Israel, is not the Israel God was talking about in the Quran. The Quran, God wasn't talking about a nation. He was talking about a Kabila, that is the tribes of the children of Israel. That is a tribe, right? That's the 12 tribal nations who descended from what? Jacob, prophet Jacob. This tribe, they divided, and today we are now called Africans. We are the children of Israel. Not the nation you are seeing in Middle East called Israel. There is a difference. Please pay attention. Now, when you go in the Quran and you read the history of the children of Israel, we were granted the land you are seeing, the Egypt and whatever have you, and now we call whatever Africa or whatever have you. But ask yourself, since the children of Israel were granted Egypt to inherit after Pharaoh, now go to Egypt and see who is inheriting Egypt. Is it Africans? No. Is it blacks? No. You will see Arabs inheriting Egypt. Now, what I'm heading to is not to be against any tribe or any race. What I'm trying to let you know is you need to always go back to the roots to understand why some things happen and why is there a fight or why is there that or this. Don't take sides. Don't say, oh, because Palestine, they are Muslims, so we have to support them. No, 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 don't be a blind follower, please. Please, don't take sides. Try to understand first, because the media will manipulate you. So Quran chapter 49 verse 6 is telling you, if you are a believer, whenever an immoral person brings you a news, try to investigate. Don't take sides, because you strike people out of ignorance. Yes. So be careful. Now, if I take you to chapter 4 of the Quran, verse 58, let's see how to pass on judgment concerning such issues. Quran chapter 4, verse 58. Let's see how to pass on judgment according to God. God says, Inna Allah ya'murukum an tu'addul amanati ila aliha wa iza hakamtum. Then he says, bayna nas. Listen carefully. Wa iza hakamtum bayna nas antakumu bil adl. Now, what is the verse telling us? It says, indeed, God commands you to return loyalties to their people, to its people or their people. Whenever you have an agreement of loyalty with somebody, try to be just to that person. Return with that. And when you judge, وَإِذَا hakamtum in the plural form. It is not talking to the prophet alone. It's talking to the believers. وَإِذَا hakamtum بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. If you are judging, if you are to judge between the people, بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. When we say an-nas, it can be an American, Egyptian, Ghanaian, Frenchman, Chinese man. They are all an-nas, right? They are all part of the people. And when you judge among the people or between the people, God says you should judge bil adli, with justice. Judge with justice, not by race. Listen, not by race. Judge with justice. Then it says, indeed, God admonishes you with comfort. Right? Ni'imma. Then with comfort, indeed, God is hearing and seeing. Now, underline this verse I just quoted, chapter 4, verse 58. I'm taking you to something similar with this, so that you understand the analysis I'm trying to give concerning this issue. Right? Good. So, I take you to chapter 5, verse 8 of the Quran. Chapter 5, verse 8. That is Surah Al-Ma'idah. And let's see what God says concerning bearing witness to something, right? He says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, kunu qawwamina lillahi shuhada'a bil qist. O you who believe, or oh you who have believed. Again, God is talking to us. Be upright for God as witnesses in justice. Bil qisti. Equitable. With justice. Then he says, and do not wrong yourselves by hating a people in order not to act justly. So do not take sides just because it's an Arab fighting. So you say, oh, we are with the Arabs. Do not take sides just because you are a Christian and it's a Jew fighting. You say, oh, I take sides with Jews. No. No. Don't do that. Then God says, ihdulu or ihdulu huwa akrabu littaqwa. He says what? What? Act justly. It is nearer to piousness. That is the best thing you need to do. It is not about favoring one race over the other or one religious tribe over the other. No, don't do that. Then God says, and beware of God. Indeed, God is conversant with what you do. Now, the reason why I took you to chapter 4, verse 58 and brought you here to chapter 5, verse 8, there's a similarity in what I just quoted. It is about being just. Act justly. Be just when you are making a judgment or serving as a witness. So we are all bearing witness to whatever is happening there, the fight they are doing. Some people will think, oh, Arabs are Muslims, so hey, they will say, oh, the Jews also, I'm a Christian, so I'm a this. No. Don't take sides, please. Investigate. Try to know the reasons why they are fighting. Was it based on Islam they are fighting? No. That is the first answer you need to answer. Was it based on religion they are fighting? I just gave you the reasons why they are fighting, right? Because this one declared independence for itself. And this one doesn't want to agree. And then it ended up that the one who declared independence for itself is more superior in terms of ammunition or nuclear or whatever. Do you get my point? So now if I'm stronger than you and you slap me, and I retaliate, like everybody will get mad at me, the stronger guy. This is the reality of the world. So first of all, try to understand things before you take sides, right? Good. Here, God says, "O you who believe, be upright for God as witnesses in justice. And do not wrong yourselves by hating a people in order not to act justly. Act justly, it is nearer to piousness. And beware of God. Indeed, God is conversant with what you do." Bear that in mind. So now I'm going to break this issue down, then we understand it in a scope. Now, how do we judge by justice? God has given us a book. The book is just in front of me right now, reading to you. Chapter 6, verse 115. I need to find the justice where I can use to make the judgment. So God says, وَتَمَّتْ كَلِمَةُ رَبِّكَ صِدْقًا وَعَدْلًا لَا مُبَدِّلَ لِكَلِمَاتِهِ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. And the word of your Lord is complete in truth and what? Justice. So the Quran doesn't only give you truth, it gives you what? Justice.